perform, as we hear in our first story from Navy journalist Susan Smith.
Tuesday afternoon, the 56th ARS completed their 9th save of the year. A 56-year-old sailor aboard a British weather ship located 400 miles south of Keflavik suffered an unknown central nervous system disorder and required hospitalization. Within a half hour of order to launch, the HH-3 Jolly Green Giant helicopter was in the air. Working through Edinburgh, Scotland, the rescue team reached the ship within 3.5 hours. However, rough seas, 20-knot winds, and approaching darkness made the save a bit more challenging. Captain Gary Daigle, the mission's aircraft commander, said the crew prepared for the worst and hoped for the best.
The hoist was pretty sporting. Again, like I said, we had 25-foot seas. The bow and stern of the vessel was constantly rocking the whole time, and as it rocked, pitched up and down, it would also list side to side as it was coming down. We did the hoist from about 50 feet in order to clear the mast, although I wanted to do the hoist as low as possible so I wouldn't be dangling the survivor or the PJ out unnecessarily. And half an hour over a boat pitching that much. In fact, when we put the PJ down on the vessel, he lost his footing and slipped. The crew member of the British vessel who was tending our trail line for us also lost his footing and slipped. So we had people slipping and sliding on the deck, and that's just because of how rough the seas were. It made the hoist that much tougher.
Tech Sergeant Stan Domalewski was the pararescue team leader who was lowered to the ship to help raise the survivor to the helicopter. We asked him what was going through his head as he was lowered to the ship, and this is what he had to say.
Hoists don't fail me now because I don't know if people have ever had the opportunity, but when you're hanging on a hoist and you can literally see this boat going up and down about 25 feet, if you hit that thing, you can get hurt, and you can get hurt bad. And I've been doing this on and off for about 18 years, and this was one of the more interesting things I was on. I had to kick off a couple times when I went down until the sailors got a hold of me, and it was scary because you don't really have any control. You're just hoping that the guys on the boat can hold you really well, and that the guys in the helicopter know what they're doing, because it's kind of like fishing, and you feel like the worm on the hook.
Staff Sergeant Terry Putman was the mission's pararescue technician. He said the mission was successful and the survivor was delivered to Lance Battalion Hospital in good condition.
His condition, whenever we delivered him into Reykjavik, patient knew where he was. He was comfortable, what I would consider stable. We'd monitored his vital signs all the way in, and the patient, he was on a pretty even keel. Blood pressure was elevated, but again, for someone in his physical condition, that's sometimes normal. But we delivered him to Reykjavik healthy.
Ending on a good note, the survivor, Mr. Ronald Wilkinson, is in stable condition and is expected to recover fine. Reporting for Newsline, I'm Navy journalist Susan Smith.
Owner. Leading up to that date, Newsline will bring you profiles of many of the Air Force activities here on the NATO base. Tonight we begin that series